My lesson plan is on the topic of vehicles and cars and is a vocabulary lesson. So I'm going to begin the lesson by introducing the theme of vehicles in circle time in the morning. I'm going to hook up a CD player and tell the students to close their eyes and listen to all the different sounds that they hear. Then I'm going to show a short video showing an overview of a city with people, nature, and bustling vehicles of all kinds. The hearing impaired student will be sat right up close next to the CD player and the speakers, and the visually impaired child will have the opportunity to sit up close as well, especially during the video. So after about 1 minute of the CD, I'm going to turn on the video and let that play. Then I'm going to ask them again to quietly raise their hands and ask about what they heard. I'm going to write those words on the wall, or on the whiteboard. So we're going to also have the visually impaired student up in the front of the class for this as well. So some of the vocab words they start saying are car, and they heard a bus, and they heard a truck. Okay, now these are going to be some of their vocabulary words. Now this is to connect it to prior knowledge. I'm going to ask if they've ever heard any of these sounds or saw any of these things that we've been talking about before. And I'm going to ask if anyone has a favorite vehicle. The students are going to be learning that basically the whole goal of the lesson is that they're going to learn that some items move and some items don't move. And they'll act as the students will act as little investigators, and they're going to go around to plastic tubs that I have placed around the classroom and observe and explore what's in those plastic tubs. They're going to be able to differentiate between a vehicle and a non-vehicle. So once I go to start the lesson, it's going to look kind of like this. So I'm going to say, well, many of us have seen or heard these different vehicles. Some have ridden on them or in them. And I'm going to explain to the children that I've altered the centers today so that each one of them has a big plastic tub in the middle. And I'll say in a little while we'll get to go walk around in groups of 3 and explore the tubs and play with all the toys in them. But right now I'm going to read a video class. It's called Are We There Yet, Daddy? It's by Virginia Walters. It's about all kinds of vehicles. After reading the book, I'll put it down. I'll tell the kids, okay, now we've heard the sounds, we've seen pictures, and we've talked about all different ways that we can get from here to there. I'm going to try to get them really excited to play with the items in the plastic tubs. Those tubs are going to be filled with plastic items, again, that move, such as toy trucks, buses, bulldozers, bicycles, things like that, and pictures of vehicles. And then the tubs will also contain other things, such as socks, a shirt, a picture of a wheel, a house, things like that. Now, to demonstrate and model the concept, I'm going to send the children off in groups of 3 to go explore the different centers. And they're going to go around the room, and they're going to work together, and they're going to figure out which items transport people and which do not. So I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes per bucket or center, so they have enough time to examine all the objects in all the buckets. And then I'm going to have them come back to the carpet after they've been to all the centers. And I'm going to have my big easel, and I'm going to have it split in 2, just like this. And it's going to have one side is going to have a car on it, and one side is going to have a car on it with a big X through it. And that's how we're going to determine which things move is going to go on this side, and things that don't move go on this side. So I'm going to start asking, what things did you see in those buckets that moved, and what things did you see that didn't move? So to make sure that the kids are actually getting it, when they're going around to the centers, I'm going to ask them, I'm going to go around with them, I'm going to ask them questions like, what's this? And where do you find this? And things like that. Say, oh, have you ever seen one of these before? And I'm going to say, oh, can you tell me what it sounds like? And I'm going to say, oh, I just found this. What does this look like? And they're going to say, oh, that's a boat, Miss Darcy. And I'm going to say, you're right, that's a boat. Where do we find the boats? Is a boat a vehicle? Is a boat something that takes us from here to there? And they're going to say, yes. I say, what's a boat sound like? And they'll give me their various cute little responses. And, you know, just by that kind of observation, I'm going to see who's comprehending things and who is struggling. Now, like I said, they'll be sent out in groups of 3, and they'll have 2 minutes at each center. So, I'm going to have a timer and transition them to the carpet after the activity has taken place. After we get up and we do the easel and they completely understand the lesson, I'm going to bring students who did not understand it, who when I was going around to the different centers and, you know, I was asking the questions like about the boat, I had, you know, lists with their names on them like this, and I would have a kid, if a kid was not answering correctly or saying something that wasn't making much sense, I would put a big X by their name. And at the end of the time, you know, I have 3 kids who don't understand it. I'm going to transition them over to the small group table so that we can work more while the other students work independently, so they can have some guided practice. And then after this, we're going to bring the whole class back together. We're going to share, we're going to discuss, reflect, and it's going to be all about how everybody learned that some things move and some things don't move.